Good day, sir. Today we will be discussing another topic, which are motivation and homeostasis. Now, what are these two? What make us behave as we do? What drives us to eat? And what drives us towards sex? Is there a biological basis to explain the feelings we experience? Homeostasis refers to the body's need to reach and maintain a certain state of equilibrium. The term was first coined by a physiologist named Walter Cannon in 1926. More specifically, homeostasis is the body's tendency to monitor and maintain internal states, such as temperature and blood sugar, a fairly constant and stable levels. It refers to any process that living things use to actively maintain fairly stable conditions necessary for survival. It refers to one organism's ability to regulate various physiological processes to keep internal state steady and balanced. These processes take place mostly without our conscious awareness. Now, how is it maintained? Our bodies have set points for a variety of states, including temperature, weight, sleep, thirst, and hunger. When the level is off in either direction, too much or too little, homeostasis will work to correct it. In a physiological context, homeostasis is disrupted by what is referred to as need state, which is an innate need, like hunger. For example, to regulate temperature, you will sweat when you get too hot or shiver when you get too cold. Here's how the primary components of homeostasis work. All homeostatic control mechanisms have at least three interdependent components for the variable being regulated. The receptor is the sensing component that monitors and responds to changes in the environment. When the receptor senses a stimulus, it sends information to a control center, the component that set and the range at which a variable is maintained. The control center determines an appropriate response to the stimulus. In most homeostatic mechanisms, the control center is the brain. The control center then sends signals to an effector, which can be muscles, organs, or other structures that receive signals from the control center. After receiving the signal, a change occurs to correct the deviation by either enhancing it with positive feedback or depressing it with negative feedback. A negative feedback loop will work to decrease the effect of the stimulus, while a positive feedback loop will increase it. In homeostasis, negative feedback loops are most common, as the body is typical attempting to decrease the effect of stimulus to get the body back to equilibrium. Positive feedback mechanisms are designed to accelerate or enhance the output created by stimulus that has already been activated. Unlike negative feedback mechanisms that initiate to maintain or regulate physiological functions within a set and narrow range, the positive feedback mechanisms are designed to push levels out of normal ranges. To achieve this purpose, a series of events initiates cascading process that builds to increase the effect of the stimulus. And this process can be beneficial, but it's rarely used by the body due to risk of the acceleration becoming uncontrollable. There are three main types of homeostatic regulation that happen in the body. Though their names might be unfamiliar, you probably experience them every day. And number one, and thermoregulation. When you think about homeostasis, temperature might come to mind first. It is one of the most important and obvious homeostatic system. Regulating body temperature is called thermoregulation. All organisms from large mammals to tiny bacteria must maintain an ideal temperature in order to survive. Another one is osmoregulation, which strives to maintain the right amount of water and electrolytes inside the outside cells in the body, which also affects blood pressure. And the other one is chemical regulation. In this, your body regulates other chemical mechanisms as well to keep system in balance. This use hormones as chemical signals. For example, in the case of blood sugar levels, in this situation, the pancreas would release either insulin when blood sugar levels are high or glucagon when blood sugars are low to maintain homeostasis. How about the impact of homeostasis? Homeostasis involves both physiological and behavioral responses. In terms of behavior, you might seek out warm clothes or a patch of sunlight if you start to feel chilly. You might also curl your body inward and keep your arms tucked in close to your body to keep in the heat. Perhaps the most other important aspect of human experience is the process of reproduction. Without it, none of us would be here. Successfully reproduction in humans involves the coordination of a wide variety of behaviors, including courtship, sex, household arrangements, parenting, and childcare. The sexual drive, with its reward of intense pleasure in organism, is highly motivating. Although biological determinants and experience of sex are similar, men and women differ substantially in their overall interest in sex. The frequency of their sexual activities and the mates they are most interested in. Men show a more consistent interest in sex, where areas the sexual desires of women are more likely to vary over time. Men fantasize about sex are more often than women, and their fantasies are more physically and less intimate. And the documentary that was given entitled "Subic-Based Sex Bars," the children of the sex trade, we can identify at least two of the drives, the hunger and the sexual drive. The foreigners use these little young girls for their own sexual desires, making them sex slaves and even locking them as if they owned these girls. And for the children, how sad and frustrating to know that they all allow this kind of malicious things for them to be able to live and survive the hunger that they feel. They trade themselves for them to have food on their table. I just remember the mother of one of the victim who was alleged to be selling her daughter to the foreigner and denying it after. I was shocked when the girls said that their own mother knew about it and letting it happen. It can sometimes be a shock to know that what a person or an animal can do for his or her desire. But it is our body's nature to fulfill that, satisfy the different drives of our bodies. And that will be all. Thank you.